Monday morning, everybody. Welcome on into the chat here. Welcome into the show. I hope you all can hear me and that we are up and running this morning as we should be. Y'all let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, that we're doing good. Welcome into the mod team. Who's here so far? Rachel and Butterfly are here. Forrest is here. Thank you guys for coming on in. Pammy, good to see you. Good morning. Beth, Doug, Dolphin, good morning. Morris dog mom. Good afternoon. I'm saying good morning, and Dolphin's like, it's afternoon, honey. Get it together. It's still morning for me. Y'all know I live on my time. It's whatever time in my head it appears to be. That's what we're gonna call it. I had to look at the calendar to say, was it really Monday? Like, was yesterday Sunday? Did I even go live? Yeah, that's the kind of day I had yesterday. I tried real hard not to do a whole lot of anything yesterday. It was strategic. But this morning I'm confused. I don't know what day it is. Anyway, welcome on into this Monday morning, guys. Seems like life is going back to normal for some, and some don't know how that happens, but it happens. And I was a minute late because I was over on Twitter not minding my business. I couldn't help myself. Wasn't minding my business this morning, so I had a comment. I didn't cuss, but I did discuss. Let's just put it that way. We might get to discussing and cussing around here today. Guys, it's going to be like a big update show. We have a couple of cases we've been following that we haven't been paying real super close attention to with all the Nancy Guthrie stuff going on. There's been a little movement here and there and documents dropped here and there, but I'm going to try to get caught up. We kind of got caught up on some this past week. I'm going to do more of that today. It's wild out there, y'all. We got Richard Allen trying their best to get Supreme Court to hear oral arguments, to get him a retrial. In the meantime, we got Letitia Stalk granted a retrial by the Supreme Court of Colorado. And next up on the docket for a possible new trial, we have Lori Vallow Daybell back in the picture. And Miss Thing's oral arguments will be heard very soon before the Idaho Supreme Court for a new trial in her Idaho case. And all I can say is thank you, prosecutors in Idaho. We thanked you for her getting the death penalty removed, remember? I kept pointing that out during the Koberger stuff. How Lori got that taken away because of prosecutorial misconduct. Now, not saying that they did misconduct, but she's got some arguments that the Supreme Court feels like need to be heard. So we can't be mad at Lori for it. I can't. Not when I've been watching that docket for 3 years. The Idaho docket. I still watch Lori Vallow's Idaho docket. Every single time I log on to take a look at Koberger and Wandra, Miss Vallow's right there for the taking. So of course I look. And I've been reading the documents as they come down. But we're going to deep dive that one maybe tomorrow. Because I just don't know if I got time to do her today. Because I got to get my little doll ready. I got to get her one of them Stefan Stearns. Wait, hold on, I didn't do it right. Stefan Stearns. That one, I think that was like an ouchie, not a full-on ouch. My vibe ain't off. My vibe is off today. Anyway, we got to get a little Lori Vallow voodoo doll going. So when I say her name, something bad happens. So, yeah, doesn't it piss everybody off? It makes us all mad, right? That'll get us fired up in the mornings or afternoons and get us to cussing and discussing. We knew, a lot of us knew in the beginning of that trial, or before trial, they were going to try Lori and Chad together, and then they severed the cases. And then Pryor, his attorney, kept coming into Ballow's trial to watch and hear and all the things, while she sat there like a fucking imbecile doing nothing for her, nothing. So a lot of mix-ups went on between whose attorney was whose, kind of thing. And that was a problem 3 years ago, right? And it's a problem today, apparently. But we'll deep dive those documents. We'll do a show tomorrow where I can really deep dive it. I know that it was weird because I was just reading her document yesterday when I was doing some research on. Well, I went to go look to see if I had anything new in the Koberger case. And of course, while I'm there, I stop and look at the Wandra, and I'm like, okay, this is new. And I'm like, let me look at Lori. And I was like, holy hell. And then late last night, I realized Nate Eaton dropped a live or a video or whatever. So I'm going to review Nate's video later and see what all I can glean from it to help put together, for more of to make sure I got the facts right of the actual the errors they're going to cite, right? She had the nerve to send Nate a flash drive. Well, she's been communicating. Lori's got nerve, period, right? Anybody who's messed around with Lori Daybell over the past umpteen years knows that woman ain't fucking playing with a full deck. She's gonna do whatever it takes to get Lori's way. All the way to the very final end of the day, her best friend Jesus comes back for her. Because the rest of us are just, we don't even matter. It's all about Lori Vallow and Jesus. And then we got people who can't understand why Savannah might be a little upset with Jesus. We want her to be perfect at all times. We demand perfect at all times. Never waver in your faith, not even for a second. What I saw this morning on TV made me absolutely sick with society. Yeah, I don't watch Colby's lives. I find them hard. It's nothing personal to Colby. I admire Colby. Colby's come through more than any kid should ever have to come through, right? But I don't watch him because I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of personal feelings, and I like to keep my personal feelings as much as I can separate. And if I get, because I have so much empathy for families already, I can't let their empathy cloud how I think today, because I might get mad and say, well, Lori doesn't deserve a new trial, but by God, if they got on error, then how can I say that when I say others deserve it because of the same error? Do you know what I mean? But she's always going to try to communicate with Colby. He opened the door for that a long time ago. That's their relationship to figure out. That's why the way I look at it, I'm glad that Colby has found a community around him to help him and support him through it. But it's so hard to sit through that over with because your feelings come into play too much sometimes, and I like to make sure they don't get clouded, if that makes enough sense. I hope it does. I've only watched Colby a couple times, honestly. And does it surprise anybody that she would continue to try to reach out to her son? Is he even surprised? Why? I can't wrap my head around why that even surprises people. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I just don't. None of it surprises me. Okay. Now, of course, guys, happy belated Easter, by the way. I don't even think I posted it. I normally don't do anything on Easter. Like, I don't have a family celebration. My kids did their things on Saturdays. I have my reasons. It's nothing. It's not anti-God. It's nothing to do with that. I just don't do a lot on Easter. I don't even think I posted Happy Easter. I don't even remember it's Easter half the time. I don't remember it's holidays half the time. So happy Easter. I hope y'all all had a great time with family, friends, whatever. If you're like me and you spent the day chilling and it was fabulous, then hey, We're all over that too. Because here's the thing, there's no right or wrong way to do life, and don't let society tell you how you should be doing life. They'll steer you wrong every time. They will do it every single time. Well, everybody's been saying that, Jet, that she's every criminal case we hear that the defendant is going to try to profit off of what they did. That to me is also a no-brainer, is why we even, I don't let it get under my skin because they're all going to try it. It's not the first time and it won't be the last, right? So that's what I mean. They're all up in their feels because they've carried this burden with Colby for so long. So I'm just saying sometimes you got to learn to separate the feels from the reality, and you can't do that sometimes. I would have a hard time doing it if it was my family member, right? Getting my feelings in check versus what I know needs to be done. It's that kind of thing. But when you sit somewhere and you choose to continue to put yourself in that position and continue to unpack it all, well, I mean, sometimes you get what you asked for. I don't think there's a person on this planet who hasn't suffered a great loss who doesn't understand grief and healing. And then we're all going to do it differently. Your way and my way may be different, but there's no right or wrong way. Who are we to tell anybody else how to do it, right? I don't know. When it comes to Lori Vallow, I don't get up in my feels. I hate that heifer. I will talk about her 5,000 times a day if I want to. I will say her name 100,000 times a day. It ain't going to change nothing. It is not going to change what she did. It is not going to help her get out of prison. I hope it hurts every time I say her name. Right? That's how I justify it. Son of Sam Law in Idaho, they're still working that shit out. We've deep dove the Son of Sam Law because of Brian Koberger. Right now they're trying to fight. You can still write books in Idaho and you can still profit, but they're trying to change some of the laws about that. And honestly, fine, whatever. Let them write their book and take a majority and give it to the families. You know what I mean? It's not, why am I going to sit here for 5, 6, 7 hours and debate a Son of Sam Law? Not, you know what I mean? I'm just feel like sometimes they give us these distractions. Y'all figure out the damn law, give it to us to debate so we can come back in 20 years and say, well, we don't like the law anymore. We realize they can make a profit. Where are they going to go to spend it? If they're a life without parole, where are they going to spend it? All on commissary? Maybe. Maybe. Yes, Idaho has Son of Sam laws as well. The whole country does, but they're specific to states. You can still write books in Idaho, and you can still profit from them. For now. But Koberger, they're trying to change all of that with Koberger. You know what I mean? We're all up in our feels in that case. We need to change it all because it's so not fair. All right. Let me get this where I need it to be on this timestamp. Hold on one sec. Okay. I don't know how many of you seen. So yesterday morning, okay, so this morning, Savannah Guthrie returns to the Today Show. Now, yesterday, from her church, the Good Shepherd in New York, where Miss Nancy was scheduled to watch the live stream from, that she never showed up for. Well, Savannah was at her church, and she gave there were some video testimonials given, right? And Savannah was one of them. So I'm going to bring this video up. I didn't even watch all of it. I watched a little bit of it and I saw people starting to make comments and I was like, man, wow. Okay. Listen, we're a very judgmental society. I'm just going to say that where nothing bad happens to any of us, it happens to everybody else. So we can sit back and judge them.
as she shares a window into her struggle and wrestle for Easter hope in the midst of a Good Friday reality.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. And Easter is happy. It is flowers and pastels and baby bunnies. It is sunshine and joy and hope. It is rebirth and second chance and fresh starts. It is the most important day of the year for all of us who believe, even more than Christ's birth, more than his death, his resurrection, his second birth into a permanent life. That is what is most crucial to us. His revival and resurrection mean the same for us. We celebrate today the promise of a new life that never ends in death. But standing here today, I have to tell you, there are moments in which that promise seems irretrievably far away, when life itself seems far harder than death. These moments of deep disappointment with God, the feeling of utter abandonment. For most of us, there will come a time in our life when these feelings hold sway. In our tradition, we are taught to take comfort in the fact that our friend, Jesus, in his short life, experienced every single emotion that we humans can feel. That his taking on the form of humanity, observer to our pain, but a hands-on experiencer of it. Recently, though, in my own season of trial, I have wondered. I have questioned whether Jesus.
Yeah, Jet, people are going to always ask, is it AI? I hate AI, by the way. Everybody here tried to tell me a year ago, I should embrace it. I should blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no. Can y'all not see what's about to happen? And here we are. It's not AI, right? But people have said that, and how are we going to argue with it? Am I supposed to go to the church and pull up their files and grab their metadata and prove to the world it's not? Yeah, I ain't got time for all that, do we? We just don't. So let them believe what they want, right? At first glance, you wonder, is it AI? You can't. They didn't even want an AI video saying my mama was still alive. Welcome to AI. Embrace it.
Really ever experienced this particular wound that I feel. This grievous and uniquely cruel injury of not knowing, of uncertainty and confusion, and answers withheld. In those darkest moments, I have thought, bitterly and perhaps irreverently, that I have stumbled upon a feeling that Jesus did not know. After all, don't the gospel stories recount Jesus informing his disciples of his destiny, that he had been sent to die to ultimately be raised up? They didn't get it, but he did. He at least knew his fate. And yes, it grieved him deeply, to the point of shedding tears of blood in the Garden of Gethsemane. But still, he knew the ending. He knew the plan. There would be suffering, but then resurrection. And so I thought, he never suffered this excruciating not knowing. It isn't wrong to think such thoughts, to challenge our God with questions. God does not ask us to be stoics.
No, he doesn't, but society's asking a whole hell of a lot of you, and they're making a lot about what you said, and they obviously have never stood in grief's door. Never one time.
With standards of pain with Zen-like remove or shallow sloganeering about the hard battle God gives to his toughest soldiers. Our questions to God, our wrestling with God, this is his opportunity. For through our authenticity and vulnerability comes a portal of revelation, the imparting of truth and wisdom. And so it went for me, this portal opening as I stared at yet another incongruently luminous desert sunset's utter darkness. Suddenly I remembered the grave. I remembered 3 days in the grave. No one talks much about that. We focus mostly on Easter. Of course we do. We cut to the happy ending and the joy of Sunday morning. And yes, we do observe the Friday before, the agony of crucifixion. We mourn by candlelight that darkest night. But after Jesus died, after he breathed his last, what did he actually know? On the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" That is the anguished cry of someone who does not know the answers. Where did his soul and his spirit go in those days in between? And what was he thinking? Did he think his time in the grave would be a day or two or 1,000 years? In the grave, did his agony seem indefinite to him? That torment of uncertainty, the way indefinite pain can feel eternal? Perhaps he did know this feeling after all. As humans living on this earth now, we are all suspended in that moment of uncertainty. Not 3 days, but thousands of years between his cross and our resurrection with him. Our faith gives us a spiritual conviction that we will be reborn, that God will redeem this pain, that every tear will be wiped away, that our Easter is coming. But we live viscerally in the meantime, the mean time of feeling unsure, lost, abandoned, disappointed, enraged, forgotten. Our comfort is that our God has felt those feelings from a perspective of humanity, that he has compassion on us, and that he promises, if not immediate answers, his sweet presence. He promises closeness to the brokenhearted, somehow, miraculously, his loving and gentle presence that makes the mean time less mean. Perhaps this is too dark a message to share on Easter morning. But I have long believed that we miss out on fully celebrating resurrection if we do not acknowledge the feelings of loss, pain, and yes, death. It is the darkness that makes this morning's light so magnificent, so blindingly beautiful. It is all the brighter because it is so desperately needed. So I close my eyes this morning and I feel the sunshine. I see a bright vision of the day when heaven and earth pass away because they are one on earth as it is in heaven. When we celebrate today, this is what we celebrate. And I celebrate too. I still believe. And so I say with conviction, Happy Easter.
Now, yeah, a lot of people did have, sorry, let me fix this. Some people did have issue with what she said. They don't understand it. They don't this, they don't that, and they bring up her anger with God. But here's the thing, and I've noticed that those of you in chat are mentioning the same thing. That's normal. If anybody's going to stand to your face and tell you you will never have an angry feeling toward God when you lose someone so close, they're lying to you, including your pastor. It's a lie. Now, Hawkeyes, you made a comment about losing your husband, and you have my condolences for that. One of the reasons I don't do Easter a lot, because technically my daughter passed away on Easter, the year she passed, but it was 22 years ago. The anger with God is extremely real and extremely valid. The questions are going to be there. And when society gets comfortable with death and gets comfortable with allowing people to be uncomfortable in those moments and allowing people to heal on their own versus I need you to feel better so I feel less awkward when I'm around you. And if y'all don't think that exists in our society, you're dead wrong. As somebody who's walked 22 years in grief, I know all the well-meaning things people are saying to me and have said to me over the past 22 years. Some of it very comforting and very real. Some of it, I'm thinking to myself, if you could only hear yourself. And I hope one day you never have to walk that walk to be put in that place, right? Um, it's just it is what it is. It's grief. It is not pretty. It takes time. It's a very different journey for everybody, and there's no playbook for it, right? Oh, you start here and you end here. But society at some point, they really need you to feel better. Not because they really do want you to be better, but they need it as well because it's less awkward for them because they don't know what to say when they get around you. Now, I felt pretty awkward this morning watching Savannah NBC Today show. I see nothing wrong with her message about her strength. Her mother apparently has raised her that way, to be strong in your convictions and keep that faith and hold out that hope and do all the things you got to do until the very end you find out otherwise, right? Now, I can see she also may need some normalcy back in her life, not just for herself. She's got little kids who need normalcy. And how do children make it through life when devastating things happen? You try to continue to show them grief is normal and acceptable, but we continue with our life, as hard as it may be, one foot in front of the other, instead of burying it all away like it never existed and everybody go back to being happy. So these children won't have to have a little bit of hurt in their heart for a moment. Teach them now what it's like, so when they're full ass grown adults, they know how to handle it. I'm seeing way too many adults who don't know how to handle adult life. You know what I mean? What do we do now? Oh my God. What a society. Well, I better run to the internet and ask a question society can tell me. You know what I mean? It's a little weird. It's getting a little weird out there, guys. And maybe because I'm very different than most people and I've run on a different energy level. I don't know. Um, I just have been feeling some type of way about society for, well, most of my life. That's a whole different story. Like, who shapes society? Who tells us what to think? Don't tell me what to think. I'm gonna come tell y'all what to think, right? Like, ugh. Well, yeah, Savannah said the kids will not lose their mom. Here, yeah, well, that's a lot of women will go through that and feel that way. I got a weird feeling about this, though. Well, first of all, someone took my mom. Okay, I'm not okay today, and I want to know who the hell took my mom. That is flying out of my mouth in front of my children. They're gonna see mama's fury and fire come out as well as my love and tender, right? But they gonna know you don't mess with my mama either. But I also had other children when my daughter passed. You have to be okay. You have to go on. It's not about society, or it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be about your best friends and your church congregation. It should be about you and your kids. They have to see how you handle all of that helps shape how they handle all of that later in life. You know what I mean? And the whole point of this not knowing. You know how many families are walking the path Savannah's walking today? Your loved one's missing and we don't know where they are. And 20 years later, we still haven't found them, right? I know two people walking that walk right now. So it's showing her, I don't understand that walk, right? I know where my daughter is. I don't know that I could imagine living in a place where I didn't know where she was, right? To me, that would be very different. I'm not the only parent who's ever lost a child, and I'm not going to be the last. I just hope my experience and walk may help others, you know. That's why I talk about it. It's not like I appreciate when people offer their sympathy and condolences because I know you genuinely mean it. But I also like to share because maybe there's somebody out there sitting listening going, "Oh my God, I've I've had this happen," right? I don't know. But the not knowing, how do you walk through that every single day? All right, so we've been hearing the chatter about her coming back to the Today Show off and on, and come back to cooking. And we all know when you go over to these morning shows, and it's been that way for decades, I'm talking 20 plus years, it's all about the beauty of the day. We're all going to start our day. We all slept beautifully last night. The kids are behaving. The husband is helping. Mom's got everything planned for the week, including all the meals. The pets are good to go. We are perfect in our perfect little world. Let's start this Monday off right. That's how our ridiculous morning shows go. So, how do you go back to one if you're not having a good day? What if you're feeling off that day? I just don't feel like going today. I'm not in a good mood. I don't feel like being nice to people. I don't care about what they're could you imagine the days now that something bad has happened in your life and you got to go do all that? Well, I never watched the Today Show, so I'm assuming Savannah's a normally very happy-go-lucky, let's make some food today kind of person. It's all her coworkers that are weirding me out, not Savannah. She's just trying to find her footing and figure out life with a missing mom, just like hundreds of thousands of other people in America have had to do it, right? She's not the only one with a missing loved one who's had to turn around and get up in the mornings and put her fucking big girl pants on and get on with life. She's not. In fact, I think she's got 2 siblings who also have to do the same thing. This one just happens to do it in a very public way, right? Just a very public way. I just find her coworkers extremely weird, especially this guy here I'm about to show you, because the other day when she did her interview with Hoda, he immediately he comes in hot with Savannah has found peace. Thank God Savannah's found peace. Who says she did, dude? You feel better that she found peace? Phew, less you got to say around the coffee pot, right? Awkward. I see you, dude. I fucking see you. And you too, Hoda. All right. Savannah, that's really up to her if she chooses to see them or not. I mean, I can't. What am I going to do, right? Let me get this up correctly because it didn't work. Why does it keep doing that? Hold on, when I uploaded this shot earlier, it didn't do right, and it's showing you guys something from the other case we're going to look at. Okay, I don't know why that one did that to me. It's like a sneak peek. Here it is. How many of you watched any of that this morning? I didn't watch the Today Show thing. I got the intro where they came in. I think they had some cooking segments. I don't even know how long she was actually on the show this morning. Was she there the whole time? Did she just do certain segments and bail out? I don't know. I don't know. Didn't watch it. Just have this little hot piece here. Okay, let me get this up. Look, it's showing that damn thing again. What in the world? Y'all just ignore it. Read it if you want. We'll get to it. Okay. All right. So this was her this morning. And of course, yellow everywhere in honor of Miss Nancy and the hope, but finding her. And Porch Guy, if you're watching, which I doubt you're watching me, everybody says you're watching them other streamers outside of Nancy's house. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But if you watch, not everyone thinks you're stupid. Just saying. I think you might be finding that a little insulting, which might trigger you a little bit.
Welcome to Today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go, ready or not. Let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back.
We are
Back at 8:30 on this beautiful Monday morning. And it's a special Monday morning for us and for this crowd as well. Special because we're welcoming back our North Star. Yeah. SG, come on.
Welcoming back their North Star SG. Come on out. And everybody in the background cheering and acting like she was the one kidnapped and found. I don't know what to think about this, y'all. I'm not like everybody else. I don't find this warm and enduring. I just don't. I don't think everybody needs to be standing around crying and somber. But I just feel like y'all are we got to go all the way down to the ground and cry, or we got to be so far fucking up on our bipolar level today that we're just woohooing. Where's the medium in between? Well, I don't understand what's happening here, and I don't like what I just saw. I'm sorry.
Come on out here. Come on back up. They've been waiting for it. How does it feel?
These signs are so beautiful. You guys have been so beautiful. I've received.
Yeah, Kelly, I get you. People are just trying to be supportive as usual. I know. It's the new. Well, you know what? This lady's mama's missing. It's not that damn excitable. I mean, I get it. That's a problem with society I have, I guess. We're so excited we're going to be in the background on the news that we don't even care about. You know what I mean? That's the part about society that I'm trying to tell y'all I don't like, and why are we accepting that as normal? We have to overlook everything everybody does. And I'm kind of tired of that. No one overlooks the shit I do, right?
So many letters, so much kindness to me and my whole family, and we feel it. And we feel your prayers. So thank you so much.
It's not just today. They've been out here
every day.
Every day.
This is such a nice
signs.
pocket square. I don't want to slobber on it. Okay, it is. I know. I'm sorry.
How little is a million of them? Don't worry about it.
We love you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget.
I just find it weird, y'all. I mean, I get the excitement and all the things, and it's strange. But what I don't know is what Savannah's really doing. Because I know the FBI's got two working theories. We can't forget there's a missing lady found. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to sit here every day and cover how'd Savannah do today on the show. Did she break down? That ain't going to help me find Miss Nancy, right? And it ain't going to figure out where the hell they took her. But whoever took her, are they sitting there watching? Are they becoming triggered by seeing that woman on TV? When their goal was to get her off, maybe? I'm just asking for a friend. Kidnapping gone wrong. Couldn't provide you proof of life. I sent an apology letter, though. That means I got a little tiny bit of empathy. So maybe they're watching. And that girlfriend's over there going, man, that 2 point whatever million does sound good. And this dude he is pretty fucking mean to me. You know, I mean, could it trigger someone to do the right thing? Or could it trigger someone bad to do the wrong thing? I don't know. I don't know. Do you think the FBI even had a conversation with her about her returning to work and how that might impact the investigation or whoever took her mother? We know that they poured through all of her work emails. Her security team was involved with NBC. I've got 3 retired FBI agents on YouTube who work for a task force out of LA, where NBC takes all of their stalking stuff to this team, and they're like, hey, we got another one stalking this female person, employee. They're like, oh, hell, give it to us. We'll take care of it. 3 to 4 times per year for NBC alone, the guy said. they're all one big happy family. Or are they? Was there that one bad apple we don't know about, but they all do? I don't know. I don't know how this will impact what happened to Miss Nancy. You know what I mean? Will it trigger something between the kidnapper or kidnappers? Will it humanize Savannah a little more? So maybe that will have someone go, I can call in a tip and get a reward and help her at the same time. Who knows? But I would also be worried that it would trigger somebody in the wrong way. You know what I mean? Not like, oh, they're going to now hurt Miss Nancy, because chances are she was fatally hurt a long time ago. I get you, Forrest. I feel the same way. Because we're not always sad, depressed, and dark, are we? No, we like to be happy. We love to be all the things too, but we know when it's fake. That's what I don't like. You know what I mean? I can tell when people are putting on a fake right in front of my face. I can tell when they're on the TV doing it. Um, and it not just NBC, they all do it, right? Those morning they're all competitive with one another, and they all got to look perfect, act perfect, and it doesn't matter how bad your day went. You are supposed to do better, feel better. You're strong. You can multitask. Oh, you realize something horrible about yourself today? Well, work on you, boo. Tomorrow you've got it. You know what I mean? Don't feel sad. Come get into the joy 101 of it all. It's like, bitch, today I don't feel good. Leave me alone. I might join you in your joy tomorrow. Right? And misery don't love company. If I get in a miserable mood, I don't want nobody else around me, because guess what? It's not your shit. It's not your shit, and it ain't your fault. And I'm in a mood right now, so the best thing for you to do is just let me have my moment, right? But how many people don't do that? They're like, I'm mad at the world, and everybody in my way is gonna know it. You know they are, Pammy. The second this went down, the extra security measures, what Pammy's speaking of, that she can't help but think of the Savannah and the other family. Now, Annie has a young son too, so I don't know if like Savannah's beefed. I mean, if it was me and my sister and I had that kind of money, we're all getting extra security now, which I should have already had in place for my mom, hindsight 2020, since I paraded her around. Since I'm the one child who paraded my mother around in front of the world, look at my perfect mom. Maybe I should have provided the perfect security. I'm not saying she's at fault for anything. That's where my mind. If I was to win the lottery right now, the first thought would be my daddy. What can I do for my dad to make his life comfortable the rest of his life? What's the one thing I can go do for him right now? Before I even thought about what I'd buy for myself, I promise you it's going to be, what about my daddy? Right? That's, and I'll go get him a truck, and then we'll go ride around in his truck and go find me a new car, right? That's just the way I am. So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. I don't even know if she's like coming back to a full week, Monday through Friday, or if it's a couple of days a week. Because how does she even know how she's going to wake up each and every morning? She can't pray every single night that she's going to wake up and be magically healed tomorrow morning. It don't work that way either, sweetheart. Trust me. It's a wave of emotions, and that first year is the most difficult year you'll ever face in your life. You're just getting started. Ask the Gonzalez family. They've yet to get started 3 years later. Yeah, if I watch mainstream TV, Hawkeyes, it's because I saw it on YouTube, right? I don't even have the ability to watch mainstream TV. I pay for streaming, but not like real time network TV. I couldn't tell you what them networks are doing, what kind of shows they have. I couldn't tell you none of that. I only watch a few things on TV to start with. But I went, I'm sure Annie and Tom have had to get back to a semi-normal life as well. They have a child. They got bills to pay. Is Savannah paying all the bills now? Get your ass back to work, Annie. Tom. I'd be like, everybody quit your jobs and move into my compound. We're never leaving the fucking building. I'm never leaving. If I had that much money, I would build myself a compound that I would never have to leave. But that's just me. I don't care about being around a bunch of people constantly. Some people thrive on it. Like, I do know people who literally don't like being alone. They cannot stand the thought of it. It's boring. It's scary. It's like, I need people around me. And I'm like the opposite of that. It's rare that I crave being around people, but I mean, there's the times I do want to go do things, of course, but y'all know what I mean. It's like I don't set out to be that people person. Yeah, Riley, we've all thought about that. Nancy probably didn't want what all of what, though. Here's the thing when it comes to sometimes you just got to sit down and have a talk with your parents. Mom, I am on TV. I make a lot of money. I have a whole entire security team. We are briefed all the time on possible stalkers. We put you on the air quite a bit. This is important. I think if the conversation may have been approached like that, everybody could have got on board real easily. Are we going to be so stubborn we risk our own safety because, oh, well, no one's. I can absolutely see Nancy saying to Savannah, nobody wants me, Savannah. I'm just your mama. I can see that. But I would have had to insist, Mom, keypad entries around the entire house, wind alarms on every window and door, right? Not going all out, drop a guy in the driveway 24/7, gated house kind of thing like Savannah probably lives in. But I think she could have had a little more security around her. And I think this has caused a lot of the media personalities to really take a look at their situations. Brian Enton's even talked about that. I'm sure Nancy was incredibly comfortable right there in her forever home, in her forever community in town, but yeah, apparently they needed a little bit more by way of security. Too bad it took something horrible to make you realize that. Yeah, Riley, I'm getting old. I can't have too many animals. They'll get on my nerves after I got this right now, this puppy and this big dog. They're both asleep, thank God. Like, this puppy's about to wear me out, guys. I'm like, yesterday I was like, you little shit. This is like having a baby again. And no, thank you. I couldn't live without my animals, though. Yeah, I'm a little surprised too, Kelly, at the not about the security system versus just the Nest cams that we saw, right? All right. We're gonna we'll get into Miss Nancy a little more later in the week as well as some more things come out. I guess when sources decide to divulge more information, and now we're gonna get into a source fight. My source said blood in the house. My source said no blood in the house. Yeah, well, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, well, me too. That's what I've been doing all weekend with the popcorn. Let's see where this goes while y'all try to get to the bottom of who's right and who's wrong, right? Nothing inside that house seemed like it was bothered, apparently. Yeah, Kelly, I warned my son before he got this puppy. That's a lot of work, son. Then I end up back over here. Now I'm dealing with this puppy. But whatever, she's cool. Little bitty shit, but she's cool. Okay, guys, we will get into some more of the Wanderer. Now, before I do get started on the next segment here, okay, so we all know Letitia Stout. We did this the other day. She was granted a new trial due to error, right? With one of her jurors was related to somebody in the prosecutor's office. So anyway, the Court of Appeals in Colorado agreed that it was an error on the juror, and so Letitia will get a new trial. Now, Letitia tried to get off on insanity defense trial 1.1, 1.0. Oh my God, Karen Reed 2.0. Letitia Stock 1.0, she tried to use the insanity defense, but it did not work. Now, word on the street, and according to the latest article, the Butterfly found yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, Butterfly, I think it was. According to her attorneys, they may try to use that insanity plea now. Let's hope that she has herself a different doctor, because that one was weird. We think she had the medical problems. And Stacey Wandra. Now, Stacey did have his preliminary hearing. Now, Idaho will apparently allow things to be filmed there. So he petitioned to get his judge removed, and in Idaho, you can do so without any cause, right? No cause has to be given, kind of like the peremptory rule for removing a juror. It's the same with a judge. No reason removal, basically. Well, that was granted. The judge said, fine, I'll remove myself. You don't want me, peace out. So the motion was filed back in March 11th. Now, also, and that was under Idaho Criminal Rule 25. So he got a new judge. All right. So KTVB and News 6 had put in orders to record and photograph the proceedings, right? And they were granted. So his trial is actually, he had arraignment April 3rd. It was actually scheduled for later this month, but for some reason they bumped it up to the 3rd. And I saw that by looking at his court documents and then reviewing the news that I looked at. For I don't know why it got bumped up, but when he went to arraignment, he pled not guilty 3 days ago. And so, like I said, though, KTVB and News 6 both just got their orders granted to record and video. The judge was replaced, and the docket is very, very short. There's not even a case summary like I have with Idaho Koberger, and it's not anything like Lori's and Chad's was all. Like, there's not a lot there. Discovery is just getting going. I don't think there's a lot there, honestly. That doesn't mean they won't convict. I don't know what they have, probable cause, but they don't apparently have a ton like we saw in Idaho 4. You know what I mean? As far as all the warrants and all the things. So anyway, when we do that update show, I'll show you guys his docket and how it looks compared to other Idaho dockets. It's insane. Yeah, he needs his justice finally. For Michael Monkey Vaughn. It's been a long time coming, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that case of Stacey Wandra, Mr. Wandra. All right, like I said, Vallo's appeal coming up. Letitia Stock with her bullshit. Now, one case before we get into the Tepe murders we're going to talk about some of the latest that's come down in that case. I want to show you guys this quick little interview. Now, y'all know we follow in the Timothy Busfield case over here. I don't have my facts sheet in front of me because, like, I just moved, like I said, over the weekend, and I have a crate with my folders of files in it. I got to reach in there and grab it. But anyway, so Timothy is accused of essaying children. And we've done shows here in the past on the allegations, what's happened so far with the case. Now, for those of you who have been here with us and following the case, we know he's married to actress Melissa Gilbert. Yeah, actress Melissa Gilbert. Of course, she was Little House on the Prairie days. At one point, she was the president of the Screen Actors Guild for a couple of years, I think. She's not any longer. Well, she went over on Good Morning America, where everything is shiny and pretty over there, including Essay of Children. And she talks to Good Morning America. George Stephanopoulos. Now, that case is still moving through the system. We all saw his last court appearance here. We watched it live. So I wanted to show you this. I think it was Thursday or Friday, I saw this was going to be happening, and I put my notification on so I wouldn't forget, because I really want to see that, right? Because if y'all are like me, you grew up watching Little House on the Prairie. We grew up knowing who the hell Melissa Gilbert is. Absolutely. And some of us probably knew her husband from whatever stuff he did on TV. Oh yeah, he was on one show, that 30 something. Is that the name of that show that everybody said he was on, 30 something? I remember that show being on, but I don't think I ever watched it. I thought, are those people real? Is that real? I think I was in my 20s thinking, is that what it's like to be in your 30s? No. That's a lot of drama happening. I remember thinking that shit. Going, I think I'll stay in my 20s if that's what happens in your 30s. Love drama. No, thank you.
Melissa Gilbert, and George, you sat down with her.
Yeah, I did. Of course, her husband, Timothy Busfield, has been accused, has been charged with this sexual contact with a minor, and she was really just determined to speak out. Why speak out now?
It's time.
Okay, y'all take a good look at that guy sitting there next to her. He was in court with her last time. I got to go pull up my information, because if my memory serves me correct, I said, who the hell are you? What are you doing sitting there next to her like her confidant? I don't know who he is. I think one article called him the attorney. But back when I first got interested in who this weirdo was sitting beside, and that's my personal take on the guy from my very first observation. I did a little research on him. Turns out he had his own set of allegations back in New York back in the day. And yeah, I think I actually talked about that on one of the lives. And so I'm going to have to do some more research and get the goods and make sure he's still the right guy.
We've been hearing and reading too much untruth, and we felt that the time was right to speak out. Also, honestly, I wasn't capable until now. It's been a very traumatic time.
In February, Timothy Busfield was indicted by an Albuquerque grand jury on 4 counts of criminal sexual contact with a minor. Busfield has pled not guilty. He's scheduled to go on trial next year. The charges stem from allegations Busfield inappropriately touched a child actor on the set of a TV show he was directing called The Cleaning Lady, when the child was between 7 and 8 years old.
When did you enter the U.S.?
According to the criminal complaint, last September, a therapist who interviewed the child documented him disclosing having nightmares about the director touching him and waking up scared. Allegations Busfield denied in this video obtained by TMZ.
I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies. And I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it.
All right. Busfield's attorneys allege the parents of twin child actors on the show blamed Busfield when their sons were recast in 2024 and wanted revenge. Claiming in court documents, a witness heard the boys' mothers say that if her children were not brought back, she would get Timothy Busfield. The criminal complaint doesn't just reference what the parents said, it of course references what the boys said in these interviews.
What the boys said originally was, he never touched me. They were both asked at the time, and they were specifically asked, you know what's appropriate, you know where touching is appropriate. Did he ever touch you in any inappropriate? And both boys said no.
But in subsequent interviews, one of the boys did say he was touching
one of the boys in that interview.
Yeah, I know it says that I know he's Larry Stein, his attorney, but what I'm also saying is back when they were in court, this is a guy who was sitting beside her, right? And I said, then who is that guy? And I got the picture on my phone saved from back when I screenshotted it because I was so curious about him. And that's where I saw past allegations, right? That's what I mean. But I know who the guy is, but he also has ties to New York. They have ties to New York. Busfield and his wife, they have a home there, right? And so, yeah, I was researching him, and there's some shit out there about him as well and how he feels about women who make allegations. Let me put it that way. We can all do our own research. I'll get what I got together. I got a folder here somewhere.
Was preceded by the father telling the boy when he would wake up at night that he was having nightmares. The boy would say, and we have this in the records, the boy would say, I wasn't having nightmares, I was just hot or cold. And the therapist said, well, why didn't you tell your father that you weren't having nightmares? He said, because I didn't want to disappoint him.
But the prosecution contends the alleged touching was first reported by a therapist, not the parents. One of the other things the criminal complaint says is that you had some kind of relationship with the family, with the boys and the parents. And I'll just quote it and you can respond to that. They advised that they did buy the two boys Christmas gifts and were together on several social functions.
Tim did not give the boys gifts. Melissa gave them gifts. Melissa gave them and every other.
Okay, ma'am, in a court of law, your defense attorney should say, quit making all them facial expressions. Because people like me who don't like people who analyze words and movements are watching. Lady, calm down with the face. Tell it to calm down.
Other child at a Christmas party a gift.
See, I'm that person that would be hard to calm my face down, even in court. I'd be like, the minute something was said I didn't like, you would see it all over my face. My face is a dead-ass giveaway every time. Melissa, honey, calm it down.
Every child at the Christmas party, not treating them special or different than anyone.
So is your contention just that the parents and the boys are just making this all up?
Absolutely. The boys are victims in this case. They're victims of the parents, not victims of Tim.
Busfield's attorney accused the parents of seeking financial gain.
And when they were fired, they assumed Tim was responsible for it.
ABC News reached the parents of the children, but
She's literally sitting there with this expression on her face like, see, he just explained it all. Maybe, because I had questions once I read the fucking document. Sorry, I cuss and discuss. Disclaimer. I don't want to hurt sensitive ears. What I read in the documents led me to have questions of these parents, but that doesn't mean I question the children. That makes sense, Melissa?
not hear back. In a statement to ABC News, the Bernalillo County District Attorney, whose office is prosecuting Busfield, said a neutral grand jury indicted the defendant. This office follows our ethical duty to only proceed on cases where a good faith basis exists to prosecute. The criminal complaint also includes references to two women who had accused Timothy of sexual assault back in 1994 and 2012. He settled one of the cases. Were you aware of these cases before?
No,
the criminal complaint?
I got this one. I need to make some.
I got this one. I need to make something clear. Make it clear, Laura Ingalls. Make it clear.
Something really abundantly clear. These allegations have been out in the ether for a very long time. And
that means you knew about them.
When Tim and I got together, the internet existed. I didn't go into my relationship with him blind. I am neither naive
I'm
nor
not one of those
complicit.
women. Stop it. Stop it. No, I'm not one of those women. Might have been.
I talked to him about it. I asked him questions about it. I heard his side of the story, which no one has ever heard, which is the truth. And when the time is right, and that is not now.
Wait. You're talking about the past allegations that one and done, over with. When was the right time to talk about those? 20 years later when new allegations come up? What the fuck? Word salad us again? Where's the dressing? Y'all get it out.
Tim will tell the truth of all of these past allegations when he needs to.
What the prosecution is saying, though, is that they cite other reports of other women making allegations that this is part of a pattern.
But the pattern is supposedly the someone who is powerful, who will do something to someone, who won't report it because they're powerful. A 6 or 7 year old boy is not going to not report something they're uncomfortable about.
What? Hang on, I gotta process what I just heard that grown-ass man say. I better make sure I heard that correctly before I open my mouth. Hold on.
Who will do something to someone who won't report it because they're powerful. A 6 or 7-year-old boy is not going to not report something they're uncomfortable about because
A 6 or 7-year-old boy is not going to report something they are uncomfortable about. He thinks that all children are going to report everything that makes them uncomfortable. What kind of world does this man live in? Oh, he's made up of society.
of the power of a director. Maybe a woman who wants to be in film or television.
Well, little boys can be scared.
But little boys were asked specifically whether it happened, and they specifically said it did not happen.
What has this whole episode been like for you?
Hell, this has been the most traumatizing experience of our lives.
Most traumatizing experience of their lives. What about there's countless children in Hollywood who were abused at the hands of others. Are we willing to say you might have been one of them? Weren't you a child actress, Melissa Gilbert? You should be like the fucking spokesperson for child actresses. Oh, wait, everything in your world was perfect at all times. Nobody ever used you, abused you, or looked at you sideways. Not one single time. Well, your attorney friend there thinks you would absolutely report it and you wouldn't be afraid to, that. You wouldn't be afraid of all that power. Ever.
Our life as we knew it is done. We are grieving what we had. All of our plans, all of our dreams, all of our ideas, all of our projects. For Tim, it's done. He's canceled. Even if he's exonerated, he will always be that guy, the last person in the world who would hurt a child. And believe me, if I thought for a second that Tim Busfield hurt a child, he'd have a lot more to worry about than prison.
No moments of doubt?
Not for a second. I know this man in my bones. No one knows him better than I do. I know literally everything about him. Our marriage has, we've had a lot of ups and downs. We've been through struggles. We've had our own issues to deal with, and we've worked through everything. He is nothing if not completely honest with me. I trust him with my children's lives, with my grandchildren's lives, my nieces and nephews. He is an honorable, caring, generous human being.
And you're confident he'll be exonerated?
Oh, absolutely.
I am 100% confident he will be exonerated, but I will tell you that there is a practical side to this, and we do have to be prepared for all scenarios.
What will justice look like in this case?
A practical side to this, she said. She's like, practically speaking. Oh.
Exoneration, an apology, freedom from this cloud.
Very forceful and emotional response from her there. As I said, we did reach out to the parents of the kids, and they did not respond to us. We'll see this all play out in court.
We will see it play out in court, George. They shouldn't respond at this time because anything they say can and will be used against them. And let's not be wrong. They got, some of them documents didn't make them parents look real good. It left questions for their, tactics, but that don't mean these kids have made up anything or lied about anything. We don't know. And they're little children. But it's the way they are reacting to all of this. This is all a lie. It's because these parents are, making this up. They want to sue us. They're going to use their kids to do it. Tim would never hurt anybody. All those past allegations are against women. Older women, young girls to women, nothing to do with little children, little boys. Really, Melissa, come on. You've known about his past allegations. Those things are so old with those women. We unpacked those documents here actually and read through them. We know what the accusations were against your husband. And you're like, he'll talk about it when the time is right. Honey, that was so long ago. Did he never felt the time was right to say his piece, or did the court documents not allow it? It's like, shh, everybody, where's your copy? Here's your copy. Do what they say and don't say a word. That's becoming the standard in America, apparently. Here's the public court documents, but shh on this part. Hell, just shush on the whole document. They'll never know. Lord, I can't anymore. I just cannot anymore. I think she'll lose some of her power. Uh, it's going to rub off. You're married to the man, right? What kind of power did Timothy Busfield and I almost said what's her name, Melissa have at this level of at this point in their lives? Like I said, she used to be president of the Screen Actors Guild. They used to do this and that. I couldn't have told you anything these two done in the past. Well, I don't watch TV and stuff, so I don't know, 20 years? Do they even do anything? I didn't know until this case happened here with the charges. And then I saw more of their more relevant recent stuff, I was like, oh, I thought they were like out of work actors or something. How do I know? What do I know? Yeah, they're both they don't want to be canceled though, Butterfly. They cancel that. They cancel themselves. They cancel income. Have you seen where I live? I cannot cancel my income. It's expensive to be me, right? Well, Dolphin, you would think 3 Deep she would be a little further along in her ability to choose men. What was it she did? Wasn't she with old Rob Lowe back in the 80s? The 80s version of Melissa Gilbert. And I know somebody said they thought he was creepy back on 30 something. I can get behind that. I remember when he was on that show. I didn't watch it but a couple times and thought it was just not. God, it was a life I didn't want to leave I did not want to lead that life in my 30s. That did not look super appealing. I'll just be honest. I've been honest with myself since I was 17 years old. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. That's just me. Like a drifter, I was boom. But I knew there were a couple things in life that were going to happen no matter what, like my kids. The dudes I could have done without, but not these kids, right? These 3 kids are my everything. Other than that, I'm not like that. What I saw on 30 something just I didn't want to be that. It was weird. I'm supposed to be married and supposed to have a house full of kids and be depressed and drink wine and have drama. Like, what? My husband works too much and nobody understands. Like, what? Is that what they really are going through? I'm like, that scared me. His past allegations came, Beth, like, what was it? Late. I've got the documents somewhere. One of them we would know was settled out of court. One, there was never really like huge deals made of these cases, right? And things like that. It was not like concrete proof, and they weren't children, right? There was one of them or two, was there 3 altogether? And one was a minor. But her father even let them cut a deal on that. So it wasn't even like it rose to that level where everybody knew about it, and he was canceled for that reason, right? But yeah, it's different. Jet hanging it low and spreading it wide. Good lordy. Oh man. Yes, Dolphin. John Cusack. Really? Then again, a lot of those men that women find handsome in Hollywood leave me scratching my head. And I'll just say it, Patrick Swayze, what the fuck, ladies? Really? But okay, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of you apparently thought that was the dream of a man. I never saw it, and I just kept quiet about it because I felt like people would, shame me for it because I said it a couple times, and the women about took my heads off. Like they clutched their pearls. What do you mean he's not handsome? I don't think he's handsome, and you can't convince me he is because all of y'all tell me he is. You know, she admitted to the juicy tidbits. See, she likes drama. She's a Hollywood actress, right? When she was a little girl, she dreamed of that 30 something lifestyle. Wait till I get to play grown up for real. Just wait. All right, guys, so moving on to the Tepe murder investigation. We had covered that here since it happened. We've unpacked what was there to unpack so far. We've looked at the house, we've looked at the maps, we've looked at entry and exits possible, what this, what that, kind of cameras, different things, what camera could have captured him, moving about near that home, and the shadowy figure coming down the alleyway. We've unpacked a lot with that case. And in the end, her husband, Monique and Spencer Tepe, were murdered in their home. They did arrest her ex-husband for their murders. And we're finally getting a little bit of movement in that case again, because we did finally get his arrest, right? And we got some documents then, and now we've had a little bit more happening. Who, Melissa Gilbert? Yeah, I remember her being. I've watched. We have all. Well, I guess if y'all watch TV growing up, I don't watch TV now. I haven't watched TV much since, I'll say, the 2000s. Let's put it that way. Because before that, I was raising my kids. TV was always on in the fucking background. I've watched her grow up, right? Like you said, from little girl all the way into grown woman, young girl dating. And then, like I said, you fast forward, she became the Screen Actors Guild president for a few years. And then she kind of just I didn't know what happened to her. I guess she went and got married to this guy, and they went and did whatever the hell they were doing. But yeah, she was a very big presence for a lot of years. She's not that A-lister she once was. Let's not make no mistake about it, right? It ain't like they're all beating down the doors to get to Melissa Gilbert's Hollywood party. And it ain't like Conan's. This ain't Conan O'Brien level party, right? It's Melissa Gilbert's house. Do not RSVP yet. Maybe something better will come along. That's mean, but that's how it is. Okay, so in the Tepe investigation, they did arrest Monique's ex-husband finally. And turns out he was stalking her. Stalking. Could you imagine a stalker obsessed? Obsessed enough to drive from one state to another, break into your ex's house, and murder her and her husband while they slept in their bed because you were obsessed. Apparently, people will go to great lengths to accomplish something they want if they are obsessed. Nothing else explains what he did. He wasn't like he got mad that day at her for a weird reason. They didn't share children with the dog. They didn't fight about the dog that day. They didn't fight about kids that day. They didn't, you know what I mean? It was an ongoing long-term hatred, obsession here. Nothing that day triggered, I'm mad. Like over in Kentucky, that in the moment I had an emotional disturbance, breakdown, and I hurt you, and I'm sorry. It wasn't that. It was, I'm stewing over you for a really long time. How am I going to get you back? Because why? I'm an obsessed person. Yeah, I'm trying to steer y'all's thoughts in a direction when I say that. Think about it, right? We don't know what the hell's happening in Miss Nancy's case. Are we going to rule out an obsessed person? Why? We see what one's capable of doing here in the Tepe murders, don't we? I do. It wasn't a kidnapping gone wrong attempt. It was an all out, I'm obsessed with you, mad at you, gonna get you back, whatever situation. It's a standard routine, Rachel. Why else are most men obsessed with another woman? You ruined my life. My life could have been this without you. My life could have been this with you. It's all your fault. You're happy. Oh, yeah, watch the. It's the typical standard societal reasons, right? It wasn't like he got mad because it was his day with the kids. They didn't even have kids to talk about. They had no reason to be talking at all, and they weren't. So he was sitting there for a while thinking about all her happiness that he did not have, right? Because you're right. But it is the standard, typical reason. Crazy jealous of her happiness. I'm going to go back to work because you're not going to steal my joy. Steal my mama, but not my joy. You crazy son of a bitch. Sorry, guys, I'm feeling some type of way today about all this. I want to get in the car and drive to Arizona and find Miss Nancy. I'm ready to put a sniffer on my tiny dog and some good boots on, because I'm no fool, and a taser in one hand, because I'm not a double fool, and go find Miss Nancy, me and my little dog. I figured the little dog would be better because she can probably get around easier than the big dog. That was my process on choosing which dog to take. It wasn't like I favored one over the other, right? Let's just get that clear. uh, and you know what? Right, what sucks the most in the Tepe thing? It sucks to take two people's lives. But those little kids, right? That man didn't even consider those children. Obsessed with his own mind, his own way of thinking, his own reasons, right? Well, we hit hell. His reasons that he did it may not even be what we think they are. We think they're for jealousy, right? But could he have just been more, I'm mad because she left me and it ruined me? I don't mean that would be a form of jealousy, but in his mind, he's not jealous. He's mad because of this X, Y, or Z, or something ridiculous. Or I can't have her, nobody can have her. That used to be what it was, everybody said, right? That's kind of evolved as time went on. So I think that jealousy will drive people to do a lot of things, from what I understand, because it's hard for me to understand jealousy, so I've tried real hard to evaluate people who do experience it so I can understand it better, right? And I feel like I've been able to do that. But I can't wrap my head around somebody so jealous. And there are people out there, you know, control, like Pammy, he's no longer in control. I think there's a little bit of all the elements, right? Pammy, the control, the jealousy, the anger, it's all mixed into these types of people and their behavior and whatever triggers them, to act on whatever they're thinking. It's wild. It's really wild. So they did end up indicting him, and we had the indictment. We read over it in the originally when we first got it, but just a couple of updates in the case. And here's what's wild. Remember when the story broke and we were all covering the case right before his arrest and looking at the possibilities and the footage in the alley, all right? This warrant was signed at 11:36 a.m. and 20 minutes after the couple was declared dead. They had remember we heard early on that the family or friends, right, the brother-in-law, that immediate family and friends were already pointing the finger at her ex-husband. That's all they knew to do. Anybody wanted to hurt this couple. Only person we ever heard anything about was her ex-husband. I don't think it was like, oh my God, let me tell you about her ex. I think it was, God, no one wants to hurt my friend except, well, there was her husband, there, this, and this, right? That's how quickly and easily it happens and how fast the information starts happening. But we didn't know it was happening that fast. It's crazy. So they sealed, okay, sorry, hang on. All right, everything was sealed and it was sealed for 90 days. They unsealed on April 1st. And I think it was, let me see, I've got a visual here too that I borrowed from the article I read because I didn't have time to make my own. Which one was it here? Look, Okay, I do have, okay, so this is going to be the warrant, right? And the warrant is so vague. This is going to be the probable cause for his warrant. That's the search warrant return. Which one is this? That's Monique's autopsy, Spencer's. And I think it is actually this one. This is part of it. So according to the this is about information that's been shared so far between the attorneys, right? So multiple search warrants from Ohio and Illinois, firearms expert reports, because comparison images and evidence images, more than 4,000 media items, including photo and video evidence, crime scene diagrams and scans, and the scans. So we're talking Pharaoh. What are we doing? More than 250 files of surveillance-related footage from the Rockford Hospital where McKee worked, which I found to be interesting. You think Ann Taylor complained about all her terabytes? Holy hell. Delphi complained about it too. Now we got more than 250 files of surveillance from the hospital where he worked. Now, don't they have it down to specific dates, right? On the night of, can we narrow it down? Or are they trying to look for what he did a month solid, leading up to a week of? How do you even, you know what I mean? Do you got to go through all 250 files to see if any of them matter? Or are they all laid out nice and pretty with little timestamps? That's wild. They also have 29 pieces of evidence collected, which includes the DNA swabs and samples, 15 sets of fingerprints, and I believe it was 400 photos from the crime scene itself. And we had learned in the past shows we did that McKee, what was it? He left his phone at the hospital. Is that how the story went? But there was like no activity for 17 hours on that dude's phone. Dolphin, gonna switch to the tablet. I mean, I feel like I need to join you. Like, not right now, but later I'll be like, I'm gonna get the tablet and lie down too. That's actually in my evening schedule. I'm gonna watch TV and lie down. It is a lot of files from the hospital, Rachel, so it's got to be footage from all over, because he was in the vascular surgical department, right? Unless this dude was bouncing all over the hospital doing things. Now, April 13th, I think, is his next hearing, and it is a closed status hearing. Go figure, closed, between the attorneys and the judge. I don't even think that he's going to be present. I don't think he has to be anyway, but it's a status hearing on the 13th, and that will be a closed hearing as far as we know, between the attorneys and the judge. Now, the defense was provided discovery on February 20th, and they were provided more supplemental discovery filings on February 23rd, March 10th, and March 31st. The only thing with the Ohio docket, it is nothing like the Idaho, where I can go click and see each and every document. That is not, that's not even close to how they do it over there. It's weird. You'll get a summary of what is there, but you can't see the document, if that makes sense. So, what I do have, I got directly from media sources. Even when you go to look up his case files, it's weird because you get two different things on any given different day, to the point where him and Morphew, like, whatever, you guys, I'll just see it when I see it and I'll get it. But this searching around for y'all stuff, no. So like I said, this would be the search warrant that was released. And let me make it larger so I can try to read it here. Is it gonna? Okay. To Elaine Bryant, Chief of Police, City of Columbus, Ohio, greetings. Whereas there has been filed with me an affidavit pursuant to Criminal 41C, Ohio Rule of Criminal Procedure. Satisfied that probable cause exists, I commend you, in the name of State of Idaho, with the necessary and proper assistance to enter in the daytime into the said to enter in the daytime into the premises, place, property, vehicle, person, or electronic device known as 1411 North 4th Street, Columbus, Ohio. Curtilage and its curtilage is a two-story single-family home with gray siding and brown trim. The residence is located on the west side of North 4th Street. 1411 is clearly marked on the front porch. Post at the front door faces east, because you don't want to hit the wrong house, right, with a warrant. And of course, anytime you enter, there was a crime scene when they entered, right? So they have the right to already be in there, but you also need to want to apply for your warrant. That way, who you catch later, their defense attorney can't say, well, you know what, that was just a consent search, and the people who lived there weren't allowed to give it. We got a search warrant, so we're good. Sit down, defense attorney. We got you. And to execute a search within 72 hours after the issuance of this warrant. The said premises, place, property, vehicle, person, or electronic devices in the state of Idaho, county of Franklin, after said diligently searched for the said goods. What is this? I can't even see. That word is like blurry to me. Or articles. What is that? I can't even say if it's RN, whatever. Like, I'm going to fail that eye test. Or articles to writ. Okay. Firearms, ammunition, because we know there were casings found in the home, right? And we also know that they were shot and stabbed. So, firearms, ammunition, fired ammunition, casings, bloody, or wait a minute, I just saw them think about something. Bloody personal injury, property, bodily substance, personal property containing bodily substance, DNA, fingerprints. So they go through the whole list of what they can look for, or what they're trying to look for, right? Other latent evidence, photographs, interior, exterior of the crime scene, all the devices, a scene triage of running laptops and personal computers, digital video recorders. See, and all this would have been even like, I wonder if the sheriff did one on Nancy's house. And that you bring the same. So there's the actual warrant that went out. We have the probable cause on the warrant too, but let me get to that. It's on this one. Yes, sit all the way down. Hey, Lindsay, good morning, or good afternoon now. It's already 2 o'clock, guys. It really is that gotten late on me. Okay, let's read the rest of this. This is the, is it not? Get up there. Okay. So, affidavit in support of probable cause says they have personal knowledge of the facts listed. It's going down. Summary statement of the facts. On December 30th, 2025, at 9:57 a.m., Columbus Police Patrol officers were dispatched to 1411 North 4th Street on a check on the well-being of Dr. Spencer Tepe, who had not shown up for work. Officers arrived and found Dr. Tepe and his wife, Monique Tepe, deceased inside, suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 minor children were found later inside the home unharmed. Columbus Fire Medic number 7 responded. This is I feel like we've read this one before. We read in a document. Victims deceased at 10:11 a.m. Columbus Police Homicide Unit 2 team was advised and responded and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through a neighborhood surveillance. So, within 90 minutes, what came first, the video, or was it at the same time that people were saying, we think we know, the only person we know that would have wanted to do anything would have been this guy? This suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicide. Because remember when this video first came out that you couldn't tell who this guy was? They're telling the investigators, right? We think it could be this guy because this is all we know about in their lives that could possibly have a problem with either one of them. And at the same time, they're like, oh, yeah, well, let's look into this guy. And here we go looking. And then what do you know? All this is tracking back to this guy, right? It's like they were working pretty fast in this case. And I don't know if old guy realized he was leaving the kind of trail he was leaving. Columbia Police Homicide Unit 2 had advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through the neighborhood surveillance. Okay. The suspect was tracked to the vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicide and left shortly after the homicide. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. Detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. I bet you there's footage of his parking lot at work that shows him in possession of the car before and after. Right, there's your proof there. This is the guy that wasn't real smart, right? This is the one guy out of all the handful of murderers lately. This dumbass, thank God. That's what you get for thinking you were all that and then some with your little fancy education and your vascular surgical abilities. Fancy hands. Mr. Fancy Hands, I'm a God complex. I can save your life. With God's knowledge, maybe, sir. Don't forget who gave you the knowledge, right? Like, don't come at me that way, sir. I'll show you. Rachel wonders if they have more video. Yeah, I mean, they had the Ring camera too, right? Well, Nancy had Nest. They had Ring. So, what do they have? And what more do they have of the guy coming down the back alley, right, toward this vehicle? Because in one of the documents that we did read, or was it an interview? I have to go back to the shows and listen. But it was the officers that were talking about this, and the one officer told them, or no, the guy from the traffic monitoring division or whatever it's called there is the one that notified the cops, hey, y'all got a camera right outside that house on the corner. It should see everything because it should be pointing directly toward that house. And he says, unless someone's turned it and they shouldn't have. The next thing we know, we're hearing they got video of this guy getting in his car and going. He parks out there in the street somewhere, and this camera sees him doing all of it, and he's too ridiculous to know. Does it see him walk straight up to the front door? We don't even know how he entered the house yet. Now, Plunder did do, oh gosh, she got something recently, guys. I reviewed it, but I didn't talk about it live yet because I've been unpacking the Nancy Guthrie stuff. Like every day, there seemed to be something happening. But it was more images, I think, that were taken. I don't want to misquote how they. Anyway, it's more images of the home. The house is for sale now, so I know there's new images based on that as well. And there's a very curious little window. Very curious little window in the back, right? That we all could tell was back there, but you couldn't. It was kind of weird angle with the house. But anyway, if that window was unlocked, it's to the basement. It's the window to the basement. It would be a way to get in without being seen. You're right. They're already in an enclosed backyard with that privacy fence back there, but we don't know how he got in. Back doors, front door, window. What if it was left unlocked or had been open? I don't know. Apparently, people are forgetful and will leave a window unlocked from time to time, right? We can't sit here and say it doesn't happen. You think his anger took over Rach and he didn't cover his tracks well? I think he might have been book smart, but he wasn't street smart. This guy didn't know how to cover his tracks properly, right? Some criminals know because they study up on things and they have a mind that might tend to wander in that direction. But Mr. Vascular Surgeon was just one track mind. I'm not happy and she is. I can outsmart them and don't even really put much thought into it and has no clue what to even do to cover his tracks. He thought leaving his phone at work would be enough. And I guess maybe getting a rental car, right? I just don't think he had enough street smarts is my term I'm going to choose to say. This was probably his problem, Rachel. Who was that? Who was I watching that is now accusing the guy at the front door? Oh, I know. One of those CSI people. Now she says the guy at the front door at Miss Nancy's is like mentally challenged because he walks funny and does something weird with a vine. So he's mentally challenged. And I thought to myself, Nano's maybe mentally challenged, but I don't know about that guy. What? Street smart challenged maybe, but mentally challenged? Because he was looking around for something to use? I mean, at least he knew to look for something to use. I mean, come on, man. Okay. So they ended up taking a lot of evidence from inside the Tepe home. And they have, so this was the warrant return on the left-hand side of the screen, and there's just a highlight on the right of what it was being said here. So 29 pieces of evidence, I think, were in total were gathered. 15 latent prints. Now, they swabbed all the doors, right, and all the windows. So can they tell an entry point by forced entry? Because like I said, we don't know how he got in yet. Whether it was forced entry here, was he able to hack into the key codes? Did he hack into anywhere in their lives and figure it out? How did this guy get in there? We don't think Monique gave him the key code to get into the house, right? And there's nowhere for him to sit outside with a set of binoculars and hone in on the keypad one day while they're walking in, because where the hell are you going to sit and do that and not be noticed? That'd be my first question, right? Because we've thought about it. How does this guy know how to get into their house if he didn't break in? Just like Nancy's. How do they get in? And sometimes absolutely matters, because then that's how you know, does this person really know them or not, right? Randoms aren't going to have a key to your house or know your keypad code unless they're running around to places they used to live at and hoping nobody ever changed the code, right? We got, just like we're going to run around and hope doors are unlocked and yay, we found one, that kind of thing. 409 photographs were taken. I'm sure that's all around the crime scene there. How horrific. And then swabs also taken. Now, I had mentioned they were stabbed earlier. I was totally wrong about that. I was thinking about 2 cases at one time. These people, they were shot. We've known that. He had a silencer. Remember, as we were like, if this guy came in and shot them, did people hear it? Would they have gotten him on a charge for the silencer? So we know he did absolutely use the silencer during the assault. And the children were asleep in the other room, right? So they're not going to hear like the loud powing sounds of a gun. Fortunately, hopefully it wasn't enough to startle these kids to wake, right? Maybe they woke up on their own and, yeah, unfortunately, whatever happened, and people got to them. And thank God he didn't mess with these kids. It's going to be hard enough for them. But this is what he didn't just go in there and take care, and peace out and leave. He took a moment, right, to unload. And how all the experts will tell us it will seem very personal, right? Especially a knife attack and a very violent assault. They say it's very personal. The gunshot wound, one and done, not so personal. But this going at you until I know, that could be taken as very personal. Because once they react and try to get up off their bed, they're not going to be getting so far. You got to continue to do all this, right? So they both knew, even if it was for a second, something was happening. And there was really no time to react to this big, huge man at the door with a gun, right? With a gun. It just wasn't. So Monique's, and I think we went over this document because we don't have the full report, but we do have a pretty good gist of all of it, and we went over it a while back. But this was something that was from within the article too. And Monique's autopsy report shows she was shot 9 times, and it's undetermined ranges, right? Indeterminate. So like was he moving about, right? If they're moving a little bit, he's moving a little bit. What the hell, dude? She had a wound to the right cheek, 3 gunshots to the right chest, all clustered together. So he pretty had a. Why would you need to keep going after that? A wound to the right side of the torso. Now notice right, and right. Okay? Right side of the torso. A wound to the right forearm, a wound to the right hand, and 2 wounds to the upper left arm. That upper left arm went up in defense. You know what I'm saying? But all her shots were concentrated to the right side of her body. What does that tell you about him? Where he was standing, things like that, where she was laying, which side of the bed was she on, maybe? Because Spencer, all to the left side. Gunshot wounds for Spencer. A wound to the left ear, a wound to the left side of his neck, a wound to the left upper chest, a wound to the left lower chest, to the left hand, left upper back, and wound to the right near the elbow. So that's 1 to the right, but it's almost like he rolled left upper back. So when he walks in the room, do we got Spencer on the left side of the bed and her on the right side, and he walks up to each? Mm, I don't know, Art, who would buy it. People buy these houses like all the time, though, right? All the major crimes that we've seen over the years, if you've followed true crime and stuff, murders happen in houses all the time. But yeah, who when you buy a house, do you say, "Oh, by the way, has a murder ever occurred in this home?" Like you expect them to tell you, right? Or do you think, yeah, should it come with a Zillow warning? Oh, buy them and they don't know, and nobody tells them. Like the realtors don't bring it up. The neighbors, the realtor will hold open house when they know all the neighbors are at work, so nobody tells you. I mean, I don't know how I would feel about it. What if you fell in love with the house, everything about it, the vibe, everything, you buy it and you move in, and then one of your neighbors tell you after you're all unpacked and settled and happy what had happened in that home? What would you do? Would you sell it and leave, or would you stay and say, "Oh, okay, 750 grand"? I hadn't looked it up yet since it went back on the market, or not back on the market, since it went on the market, because they had their stuff together. These two parents did, as far as their finances and the kids. You know what I mean? To look out for the children if something ever happened to them. And that's a parent. They have family, so someone's been working on their financial means stuff. Um, that aspect of their life for their kids' sake. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do if presented. Um, what's the chance of him going in there ungloved or pulling his? How long was he actually in the home? Right? We had read some documents about that. I read an article. I got to go back through what we do have and get I got to go find my folder actually. Lord, I gotta get myself back together here. Um, I gotta get all my notes out on this case though, so I can get my stuff together, because we did cover this from the beginning of it, and I don't want to lose my facts on the case. So that means I got my work to do on it. That's on me, and we'll follow it, of course, and see what happens. Moving forward, about trial, about his future appearances in court. Like I said, they have the date coming up on the 13th for the closed status hearing, which means we won't get to see it, obviously. Um, but were there any of his latent prints, like maybe shoe prints that matched his shoes, right? Found in the home, or he stepped in blood, or he stepped in the snow or the dirt or anything, then transferred into the house, left a latent print or a shoe impression even. 409 photographs. I'm sure that's crime scene everywhere, whatever the bedroom, every piece of evidence ever touched and swabbed, and 29 pieces of evidence total. I think I read that they had even packaged some of that up. I have an article. Let me find it. Well, up. I think it was this article. Yeah, so it was like 90 minutes after they were declared dead is when that search warrant was issued. I was looking for something specific in here. If I can't find it, I'll have to get my information out and get it together. And I've never covered a case out of Ohio, right? And then that's also where that case from Caleb Flynn, and I think that guy's already going to trial, like speedy trial. Like, talk about speedy trial. He's probably the definition. I was looking for, it's not in here what I was looking for anyway. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for something at the same time I was thinking about something. All right, I'm going to get my notes pulled up and together on this case because we need to make sure we're following the case updates, even in the Celeste Rivas David investigation. There was this thing about his parents refusing to testify. They refused their subpoenas in Texas, which prompted a court case, which prompted documents, which is where we found out certain things about David's investigation with Celeste that were not before known to the public. And now we have that Neo guy, that friend of his. I'm not talking. Oh, I'm talking. That guy talking again. And then he came out and said a couple things in social media, and now he is shut down again, but he's not supporting David, right? So he's apparently testified before the grand jury and cooperated. So why haven't they arrested this David yet, right? So we're still waiting on all that to play out because I just haven't covered it because there's nothing there to cover except getting super irritated with Los Angeles County. Like, what are y'all doing and what are you waiting on? Like, what is it about this guy you're waiting on? What we need his parents for if his friends are telling you, yes, he was with her, and yes, 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 and yes. Oh, and yes again. What are we doing? Right? So I'm still following for like real updates in that case. I just haven't seen any, and I'm not doing the drama of that case. I got so over that so quickly. There was like all of a sudden, boom, like just a bunch of it. And this is a child, and this is yucky, and there's some yucky things happening to a child, and yeah. And a lot of people apparently knew about it, including her family. So I had to just I had to compartmentalize that one and leave it what it was. Right? It's another case I'm following at this point until they piss me off again. So, but I'm almost there again. We're keeping an eye on the Leticia Stalk justice for Gannon because that's ridiculous that she's getting a new trial based on court error. Same thing with Lori Vallow. And Stacey Wanderer, they all want to come in. I'm surprised he didn't plea standing silent, right? The notorious plea for Idaho. I stand silent next to my attorney. Appointed attorney, court appointed attorney is telling me to stand silent in Idaho. Oh, they're like, that doesn't have the same impact it used to on social media. They're like, oh, really? Never mind. I just plead not guilty then. Damn it, man. Ain't that funny how that worked out? I just thought about that. Yeah, okay. I see you. Wow. And then, of course, everything's going to go back to Miss Nancy. I got somebody looking, not personally. We, as a community, have people out there looking around. We're all looking around, can't seem to find her. And at this angle, you can see that house, that would be to the left of her if you're facing her. And you can see the proximity of that home. We know the proximity of the home behind her. And then on the course to the right of her, the Jim Guy house, and 4 houses down the road guy. We had that interview he did with Nancy Grace, by the way, because I like, does what he say? Not that I don't have like this guy's lying or this guy's making it up or exaggerating. No, I'm trying to figure out if what he's telling actually makes sense, and does it even apply to what happened at Nancy's? Because it could be huge if so, right? So when I tried to turn off the noise about the whole thing of it all and just listen to what he's saying happened, and when he said, when I was reviewing the footage with the authorities, and the 2 times the dog allegedly barked to go out was the night that all happened. But investigators noticed that first time it happened was January 11th. But the internet broke over a picture of No Eyes, claiming that was January 11th. All Points Bulletin, let's go old school, went out for anything that went down January 11th. Footage, cars coming and going. January 11th became a huge deal. And y'all know that if we have followed this case. Was it all based on Jeff's video of Jeff's dog acting a fool on January 11th? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because if the dog acted a fool on January 11th and normally doesn't, even if it did, but you could tell something was up, that's important. Especially if it's not normal behavior for your dog, right? My point is that's probably how that date of interest came up, but we've been told 1,000 different ways it was because of this, and this, and this. Sources say No Eyes was found on this footage January 11th, when the FBI says we don't have a timestamp. Well, why are you lying to me, FBI? It's no longer what Sheriff Nano said, because he's not the one who got this footage. Y'all took full ass credit for it. You were proud of that partnership with the private sector that you and the president have worked tirelessly on with your efforts so you could serve lawful search warrants. Sir, shall we play it again? For those in the back. Lord. Just like when they went back out to Nancy's and decided to search the house with the big bright white roof, and I no longer have it uploaded, of the sewer search, water tank search, and that was also a neighbor, we read the article here, took full credit for those 2 searches. Full credit. I called them and I told them her roof was just too white. It has to be new. It has to be cool sealed. Go check it out. It could be something. And they did. Same lady said, I'm the one who told them those water tanks were back there. Go check them. And they did. But mainstream media told us they were poking around with a stick trying to find a body. That was a keyed in on purpose search, and you could absolutely tell it was the most sloppy search I'd ever seen in my life. If you literally watch those guys walking around with nothing more than a pair of gloves and a pole and a clipboard, poking around, we waiting to poke something before we actually pretend we're looking for a body, right? So it's tip based, and that's what they needed those tips to come in to generate. But I feel like there's a lot of things that may have been said about this case that are speculation that are now going to be start to be explained a little more, because we can't rely on the nanos of it all to do all that. Yeah, Rachel, there's not but a few people paying any attention anymore to what that dude is saying. He interviewed with, who was it? Oh gosh, we were just talking about it over the weekend, I think. I got a clip of him doing, what was he on? What did I tell you he was on? One of the local news stations he was on again, with them, and trying to defend with remember Brian Enton has the guy on video with the silhouette and the voice changer that didn't want to be identified, that called out Nanos in this bad investigation. Nanos did an interview and kind of like, that's not nice. Not nice, whoever you were. Yeah, it was with one of their local people. It might have been a neighbor, Kelly, that called to report the camera, because that was always a big concern, too. You roll up on a scene, you're told my mom's missing. Okay, we think it's a walkaway. Oh, wait, no, there's blood, there's this, there's that. It might not be a walkaway after all. When the hell do you notice those cameras, right? When? And why did you not remove them? And why did it take, what was it, Butterfly, the 7th February? These were removed 7 days after Nancy's disappearance. FBI had already been out there once at this point already, right? Canvassing around, but the FBI is the one who removed these two, because there's that camera overlooking the green, and then we had the one, oh, I may have taken that one away because I had to put something else up in its slot. Let's see. No, I got right here. So there's our first camera, and there's our second camera, the one that overlooks the patio or the driveway area, right? Would have seen Nancy coming home that night from dinner. Probably would have seen the Uber pick Nancy up, because she probably would have it in her instructions, pull around to the garage, especially if she didn't use that front door often. If this was her normal means, was that garage, because there's that little keypad that you can, well, I've got one picture, but that's all. But anyway, if that was your normal method of even getting home that night with Annie, Tommaso, whoever brought her home, this is going to be seen, allegedly. Now, interestingly enough, Jeff with the dog, 4 houses down, 2 cameras in the back that didn't seem to be working properly. The FBI also questioned him about what he calls he's describing his own home and community. He says, we even talked about our horrible reception in the area, Wi-Fi, cell phone, cable, you name it, we got it kind of problem, right? I think intermittent in and out was normal in this area. People are going to argue with me about it and say this and say that, but if you don't live in a dead spot, in a true dead zone, if you don't live in one and you don't know that you can walk 5 feet to the left and get a perfect reception, I don't care if you're on your phone, your Wi-Fi, you're hardwired into the cable coming out of the ground. That's going to be different, obviously. But walking 5 foot the other direction, nothing. It's like, what the hell? And don't move when you're talking. That still exists in certain areas, right? And they wouldn't be questioning that behavior in the area with these devices and everybody's cameras, because it feels like not everybody, even the lady who talked about they were switching cable or switching, no, switching providers. And I'm thinking, was there like, you know how if you're in an area and it's like sucks with this provider and carrier, so I'm going to see if I can get service with this provider and carrier. I had somebody ask about that locally here just the other day for the racetrack, actually. A friend of ours wanted to know what's the best phone out there for streaming, and we're all like telling him because those of us who've done it know this works, right? But out there, same thing at that racetrack. 5 minutes down the road, nobody's got to worry about it. But at the track, it might become a problem, depending on who you have for your carrier. So I think there was already issues in the area, but I don't know to what extent and how they would affect all this. These are solar powered cameras right here. You know what I mean? Everything's wired into something at some point. You just plug them in and hook up to the sun, and that's all you need to worry about, right? Okay, well, what good's that camera going to do me? Is it recording anything? Is it taking a picture? Is it going to notify me properly? Is it hooked up to the Wi-Fi? Who knows? I've seen experts talk about specific devices, right? Of these kind on the building, the Nest camera at the front door, how they all want to say something different. They tweak it about how it's supposed to work, how it should work, what we can glean from it, what we should be able to get back from it, depending on what our service was. I'm so got a headache over that whole conversation anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so over it because it's been hashed out and hashed out and hashed out in my brain it's to the point where that right there, that whole what's happening in Nancy's neighborhood with the Wi-Fi internet cable, it sucks, and I'm gonna have to leave it at that in my brain and try to figure out who the guy was at the door with no eyes, regardless of what the fucking internet, right? Because sometimes I can't rely on a computer program to solve a murder, to figure out who this guy is at the door with all my facial recognition and my iris detection and we're going to scan this backpack 100 ways to Sunday and figure out where you bought it and what date and time. We'll have you arrested and comprehended in no time. And your little Mexican carry there ain't fooling nobody. That's a dead giveaway, you dummy. Oh, wait, and don't forget this dumb move, you idiot. This guy's laughing. Or is he sitting there feeling bad? Or is he sitting there at all? I don't know. I don't know. It still don't make no sense even with these backdoor stuff. Now, I haven't heard anything like crazy new that I don't think I have anyway. I have to look at my notes. From what everybody's reporting around town, of course, Brian Denton took us and showed us some things. Oh, Nerdy Addict did go and get some video. Oh, which reminds me, I need to do something. Let me see. I don't know. I think he's uploaded 2 or 3 drone video. Is it drone video footage? This one is, I know. But remember where the house was, like 2 miles away, that allegedly recorded a video of a vehicle passing, was it 2:38 or 2:36 a.m., 8 minutes or so after Nancy's pacemaker went offline, and the home was about 2 miles from Nancy's. They're going to fly you there by drone. Okay. Um, to me, it's just too far away, even if you get in the car and you drive 30 miles an hour. Why am I going in that direction? Because it seems like a far way to be going, unless that was a route to somewhere, maybe a safe house. But it wasn't the route out of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It wasn't my escape route. It would have been my route on the way to somewhere. That's my thought process behind that house, if it even mattered. Remember when Brian Enton took and walked back through here right behind Nancy's home? He walked all through the brush there, or, well, the wash, whatever you want to call this, the desert. I don't know why he didn't have eyes, guys. I noticed it the minute that picture came out. I'm like, why does he don't have eyes? Is it pixelated? Was my first guess. Then I was like, was that a bad AI attempt to fix this photo for me? I don't know. And they forgot to take it out. I don't know. This incredibly, I didn't like it. I'll tell you that much. I don't understand why it was there. And I know it don't. I mean, it makes a difference if people are going to tell me it's January 11th, then by God, show me a timestamp. I don't care about your source anymore telling me it's January 11th. FBI flat out lied on to America, not just whispered it, but flat out lied they didn't have a timestamp. So why are we got a date on that picture then? How? Right? Why is that so secret? Because the criminal doesn't need to know that we got your image on the 11th. That you could have been stalking. Who the fuck's it matter now? But it's a lot more footage of the back of Nancy's property, the porch there. Then you go into the pool area over here, right? And there's the gate in the middle of the yard between the green space and the pool. And then there's the gate down to the front of the property, or down the side of the house, you know. So there's a person going to be in the white car, and that is who the drone follows, the car, and they drive all the way out to that house where the video was taken of the car at 2:36, 2:38, whatever it was, a.m. Yeah, I didn't get that either with the so because I keep walking outside of Miss Nancy's house, right? And I'm standing there in the front yard and I'm looking around and I'm going, where'd you take Miss Nancy? Where'd you go when you left this driveway? I have to know. Did you go right or did you go left? Because that makes all the difference in the world as to where you might have been heading and which way I should go as I look for you. Needs to be two of me. Well, you go that way while I go this way. But there's a particular street in her neighborhood I'm curious about as an escape route because it's quick. It can get you one place, it can get you multiple places pretty quickly. And I want to see what that looks like, what that ride feels like, what kind of cameras can see. Do you know what I mean? Apparently, there's all the cameras that were working properly didn't see a lot to amount to anything, even if it got a car in close proximity to Nancy's house. Because I'm going to find it hard to believe because I've been if you go to the maps and you look at all the little side roads in between Nancy's and you go to the ones that lead to other main roads and you look at these houses, not all of them are sitting far off the road. There's several that are sitting pretty close and there's a couple that are new with very low to the ground vegetation. And I'm like, damn, that's a pretty good view right there. What if, right? What if? But what if it's so dark you can't tell what kind of car that is? All you got's a timestamp. I got a car on Street X at 2:32, right? Coming from that direction. That's all you got. Don't tell me anything. Well, do I have a camera down the road a little bit further that tells me I got maybe the same car? What about a little further down from there? And so on, down to the intersection now. Can we reach out from there? That's how that should work, but not here because they don't record nothing and cameras suck. But a few of them houses did sit up close. But look, guys, he's still driving right toward that house that saw this car. So you got to think, well, that's Nancy and the kidnapper, maybe, right? Then left Nancy's house, pacemaker disconnects, and they're heading toward that house now. Why? Why would they go that way and end up in a neighborhood? Was that the safe house neighborhood? If it's not that, I don't know what this is about. You know what I mean? Because I have to figure out, why would they go there? What would they do there? Where are we going? And of course, once it passes that house and that camera, well, we don't know where it went. But you can also bet the FBI had the capability of obtaining a geofence warrant for that area for the date and time that car was seen. Okay? And now we got all these phone numbers. Which one's the driver of this car? Oh, can we ping all these phones and follow them? Is one going to follow the path of this car? Do we keep dangerous territory there, Mr. Search Warrant Guy? Dangerous territory. So I'm not, I was never convinced the house 2 miles away car sighting had anything to do. It was the Kia Soul, right, guys? Yeah, Kia Soul. I never thought it was much to do with this. Yes, Ark, I agree. Having a suspect vehicle one is so important, right? Even if we cannot identify the actual positive year. But yeah, having a vehicle even of interest, right, at this point. Blue sedan, they may not be positive of a year. See, whatever, or even the color could be off a little because it's dark and I thought it was a dark sedan. It could have been blue, could have been black, right? Something. It's a lead. We have none of that in here as far as vehicles go. This is that weird, right? There's nothing in this case at all about a vehicle of interest. Like, legit, not one. But we know he, got rid of so that was the house, guys, that it crept up on there. So we know that, they're at the door. We see them. We know they left. They arrived and they left. We know that. We assume it was by car. We assume they left that neighborhood that night. I don't assume that anymore, but I assume maybe they did. And if they didn't leave the neighborhood that night, they did shortly after. Would have had to go pretty quick because things are about to get real hot because Nanos is going to be dumb, right? And shit's about to happen. But I don't know. If they stayed in the neighborhood that night, it would have been a tactical move on their part and not driven by what they thought they should do. It would be more of a tactical move. Would be the only reason they would do that. They probably left that night, right? As soon as they got Miss Nancy in the car, they were out of that neighborhood. But we have no way, and even if you go to the map and look at the ways to get out of that neighborhood, they don't appear to have any camera footage. They say their shit doesn't record, right? It's just here to monitor traffic in real time. Gets busy, we'll turn the red light up, let crimes occur. We'll figure them out in other ways. We got really good detective people out here. We don't need to have recording cameras. That takes up a lot of data in space. Lord. In a building, sir, that it all goes into the... Lord, never mind, right? You can't with that guy. Have you know what else would be nice if we could get right now? A solid lead on that damn DNA from within the house he claimed he got. I don't know that knowing that there was a lot of things not collected at the crime scene, right? Like the debris on the front porch, the plant matter, the rug, the welcome mat that was there, um, releasing the scene, inexperienced detectives, lead detective with no homicide investigative under his belt at all. Do they know what they're doing at a crime scene, right? Do they know to swab that one weird thing laying over there in the corner, right? Do they know to do this? Do they know to take that? We can't trust that they did. And that would include the crime scene investigators that show up. How well trained are those people? I'm supposed to have faith in this whole department. 90% disagree, but shit, that little bit that do agree with him and support him, they're the ones getting to do the job. And they sucked, apparently. So how can I hold that little, what, we got 2 people coming in to collect swabs? Maybe. Do they know what to swab without being told by the investigators? Because apparently the investigator don't know enough to know what to swab, right? To even know that would be valuable. Could you imagine one of them walking past a cigarette butt and saying, "Oh, that'll never be valuable. Don't touch that." Could have been the person that did it on their, could have been their cigarette butt. Have you ever watched Forensic Files? That soda can you see in the bush across the street means nothing, right? Ugh. It's crazy. We don't know what they missed or how fast they could have. What if the sheriff's over here by noon, she walked away? How long did it convince them that she absolutely didn't walk away, sir? Do you see this? No, we don't have a big commotion in the house. We don't see any of that stuff, sir. We see the back door propped open. We see some blood on the front porch. And we have a family saying she cannot physically walk away on her own. And all of her belongings are here. How long did it take to convince him we need to do a criminal investigation? So if you waited 6 hours, how fast are our cameras down the street recording over each other every 30 minutes now? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? A lot of critical time could have been, it was lost because of his ridiculousness and his little team's ridiculousness. And whatever fallout happens to them, it happens at this point. They deserve it. It's all on them. You can't get mad at people for coming out and speaking out against you, because it's not like everybody's ganging up or people are, or they have vendettas and they're all just holding things against you and it's all being mean people. It's not like that. People are finally like, enough's enough. Now we can be seen and heard. People are willing to listen now, right? I've not seen anybody come out and do this in a malicious, vicious, slanderous kind of way. It's been more like, well, here's what we've been dealing with, and this is how he is. He is quite ridiculous. Just like that display I saw this morning was, to my opinion, was a little ridiculous. But Miss Nancy's still out there, and I don't know how long she'll be unaccounted for. It's crazy. I don't know how much the FBI's got still. I don't know how much evidence they scratched from videos that we haven't seen. I know when he takes the camera off and now it appears that Ashley Banfield, Gray Hughes, and Jennifer Coffindaffer, all 3 appear to think the guy was trying to use the vines to get the camera off now. So once he successfully got the camera off, it was still recording. I wonder if he realized, because maybe he wasn't quite so tech bright with a Nest camera after all. Did he know it had that battery in there? Is there an on and off switch? Did he look for one? How long did it record in his pocket before he got rid of it, right? Did he think getting rid of it, it didn't matter what it's recording? Because once I've got it, it's all right here in this little, there's a S, and maybe in his mind there's a SD card in there. And the only way to see it is if you get this physical device. I don't know. I'm guessing. But I'd like to know what it did see, because that could tell me a lot about that person at the door. I don't really want to see Miss Nancy being harmed or showing visible signs of being harmed, because that's heartbreaking, but pretty sure you might have captured a little bit of that too. It's wild. I don't know, guys. Oh, hon, wait. Let me, I gotta set the record straight. I'm sorry for anybody new around here. I do not go by what anybody else says. What you just heard me say about Gray Hughes and Jennifer Coffindoffer and what's her name, Ashley, all claiming that he's now using vines to remove the camera. I was being a real smart ass bitch right at that point. Because no, that's my theory. Thank you very much. I don't like to toot my own horn, but damn it, man, y'all sit down with your damn bullshit. Not y'all, but those three. Yeah, we don't. Gray Hughes alters videos. I mean, he might enhance them, but he will also redact things in a video. I don't trust it. No. I was just making fun of them because they're all now citing a theory I've had for a long time that nobody else believed, but it's like, well, they actually believe it now. It's funny to me, so I don't know where they got that bright idea from. I couldn't tell you. Ashley Banfield thinks that she made it up in her head. And then Jennifer Coffindoffer thinks that she did. And somebody on X told her the Banfield's been saying that since the day that thing came out. And I'm, no, she did not. From day one? Really? I didn't even say it from day one. People were going to laugh at me when I said it, and I knew it, so I didn't say it from day one. It's so funny. Nah, we don't do the Gray Hughes around here. He's mean. He doesn't like me. Doesn't like me. He told his mods to block me that one time for asking a question, and they didn't do it. But that's between him and the mods. I tell y'all, be safe on them YouTube streets out there, right? Once you learn, and when you know, you know. It's like you want to believe that they're like cool guys, good guys, got good work. They're not too bad on thinking, But then once you watch, sometimes your opinions may change or evolve. Who knows? I try not to tell people what to do or who to watch, but I'd like to tell y'all to be safe out there. But I don't mind also pointing out if I'm being, shady about somebody. Butterfly member for 12 months. Salty's crew always. Thank you. It's a long time, right? We've been friends before the channel like that, but yes, it's been a crazy year. Crazy year and a half, actually. That's so cool. Thank you for being here. All right, guys, I'm going to go for the day. I'm going to take dogs out. And I'm like, what am I going to do after that? I'm going to make food later and research. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Whenever more comes out in the Tepe case as it develops, we'll get, I don't have any, like I said, I don't know about Ohio. Do they even stream trials? Like New York, no. Right? Like Rex Sherman's trial, Court TV, Law and Crime, whatever. They're not going to be able to stream it because you can't do that coming out of New York. I don't know Ohio. I haven't even checked. Right? You get it with, other states. You get Idaho, we get it. Florida, we get them. Most all states we get to view. Well, unless you're Delphi, Indiana, it's completely off limits. Don't even ask us. They were saying. So I don't know. I have no clue if Ohio normally. Let's see. You know, whenever Letitia had when Letitia Stalk had her case in Colorado, that was televised. But they used the camera, the judge used the fixed camera that only he had control of. Like, none of that court TV, don't zoom in stuff like we heard with the Koberger case. And then 2 weeks later, there's a court appearance and they zoom right on in. It's like, stop it, you know? Over in the Morphew case, we were warned for the second time, do not live stream this event. JLR live streamed the event. Now we're all banned from live streaming the events, court events. Thank you, JLR. He knew it when he did it. We were all unhappy about it. Those of us who wanted to have the ability to stream stuff about the Morphew case because Susan deserved it, have nothing now because of Jonathan Lee Rich's investigates. Absolutely went out of his way to break the rules. The court document, you can go find that for yourself. I don't just make shit up. I could, but why, right? When it's all real. Oh, goodness. Who? Morphew? I don't know, Butterfly. That guy get on my nerves. For some reason, it's like that case is bothering me just because they don't want us to talk about it, right? It appears. Don't talk about it. Don't look at it. Is that who you're talking about, the Morphew case? Because that case is irritating. Let's see. I don't even know when the last time he was in court. What, just recently? Well, he was in court in January when he pled not guilty. You had to get more cough medicine, Dolphin. Oh no, you feeling under the weather? So March 30th, did he have a at 1:30? He just feels like he's privileged. He wants to be treated privileged. They've appeased his every fucking wish, and it bothers me. And I know how messy this stuff was the first time he got charged, all the way down to the district attorney's stuff and the attorney's stuff. I can't stand when cases move into matters like that. Karen Reed 1.10 and 2.0. I was so over stuff. When they get like that, I don't like them anymore. Like, I don't trust any of them. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, can't trust any of you. The prosecution, the defense, the judge, none of yous. I don't trust the defendant. That's all the 2025 docket there. Let's see something. 2026. Yeah, and in fact, I have the docket pinned in the Discord under his channel. I just haven't looked at his docket in so long. Hearing is on the 8th. People are saying the same. The pollen is getting bad right now. Everybody's allergies are starting to act a fool. We're all getting the act up. Our allergies need to get some act right, right? Uh, March 30th. Yeah. Uh, I know I think I have a channel for his ass where I have his docket loaded up. Let's see. Hmm. Somewhere I do. I thought I did in my Discord. Anyway, it's easy to find his docket. That's well for the most part, and you can see most of his um, on their website. I think it's you can see most of the documents. It's not, but there's some his shit was sealed too, right? They don't want nobody looking at his way or talking about it or coming at the court and looking at his daughters doing. They just a lot of drama on the internet after the fact, but the daughters as well. And we're gonna be mad about y'all going after one family, but not another. See, we don't. That's where we got to be like, look, is this? Does it really depend on if we think the whole family did something or not, right? Or just that guy, right? I don't know. But this Barry caused his own family to be really looked at and think, at his own fault, things he did, properties and money he was moving around and using his daughters, and made it all appear super shady, things like that, I should say. But yeah, I don't wish them headaches on y'all. I haven't had the allergy headache yet, but I've had the little congestion part of it. That's about it. All right, guys, y'all be safe out there. I'm going to do a little bit of digging in on the I'm going to get a good update on the Wanderer situation about where we stand. It's not, like I said, that docket is not long. It's not real involved. There's not a lot there. And I just need to kind of like jump in, make sure we got all the points good about that, and because they're going to be getting ready to go to trial there. We'll follow along with whatever gets filed for Letitia Stalk. And when they're going to get her into the Supreme Court. And Lori Vallow, she's not on the docket as far as I know between now and November. Was it all the way, or October? Now till June, I think, because I was watching Nate late last night, like I was saying, and whom he mentioned going. I didn't do it. I didn't double check it, but he said he went to the Supreme Court's website, I believe, and checked their docket, and it's out like in 3-month increments. Anyway, through the end of the year so far, I think all the way up until October, Lori Vallow's not scheduled yet. So she may get scheduled before the end of the year. It may pop up on the beginning of next year's docket. I don't know. But they're set to hear, both sides actually asked to have oral arguments heard, which means in Idaho, those are televised. They're recorded. Whenever they had that in Delphi, when they took Judge Gold to the Supreme Court, Indiana Supreme Court, we were able to, those oral arguments were recorded, right? We were able to see see that in action and then get the results from that. When she was ordered to reinstate Allen's attorneys of choice, ma'am, Constitution, turns out it does matter. So much so that Letitia Stalk and Lori Vallow, mommy killers, get new trials with overwhelming evidence that they did it. That almost requires a drink when I think how that worked out for Rick Allen. And the parallels as to why. Because I don't even know if that dude did anything or not. But damn, I'd sure love to know for sure. Because I'm not convinced that he did based on the evidence you tried to show me. With your damn Google searches. Like, what? If you know, you know. Anyway, it's just weird how that works out, right? I can't. Vicks Vicks Vapor Rub is the shit, man. You can't, right? It really is. All right, y'all all go take care of yourselves out there and be kind to yourself. Life can be joyful. We can be happy, but we don't got to fake it when it's not, right? We just don't. We don't have to do all that. That's not real. That's not being real. Mm, Lord help us. Well, we'll keep Savannah in our thoughts and hopefully she can get back to some normalcy in her life. Maybe today will be the day, by the end of the day, that somebody will call up and give a tip as to where Miss Nancy is. They're fighting on the online now about where to send your tips. Crime Stoppers is like, don't send it to the FBI or the sheriff's office, send it to us. I'm like, y'all need to really get better about getting the tips in, and we really need to get people to calm down with their crazy tip calling, right? Calm down with the crazy so that it's easier to weed through the tips. I just don't know how many more tips can come in that aren't like it would have to be a very good tip at this point to make it even like something we haven't heard yet. Not like me, like if I was a cop taking tips on the phone all day and 2 months in, you call me with the same stuff I'm hearing every day, and I'm pretty much gonna be like, yeah, 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 yeah. Write it all down and put you in the pile with the pile. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's gonna take. If it's gonna take somebody deciding 1.2 mil looks really good, or if it's going to be a DNA, right? We got it. We got the profile. Big celebratory dinner for everybody. And then maybe Miss Nancy's mystery abduction can be solved. I don't know. All right, guys, y'all go have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, and we'll get into some more updates on the cases that we're following. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.